What's up guys, thanks for checking out the video. I'm here in Northern California and this is my SubaruONLY shop. Today, I'm going to be talking about taking that extra step to clean your short block before you reassemble it. It'll involve some power tools like this guy, and I'll be using a Dremel tool like this guy. Thanks so much for checking out the video guys. I'm Luke, this is the SubaruONLY show. This is my little SubaruONLY shop. It's a DIY Subaru channel. It's a channel where all I do is Subaru builds and race Subaru vehicles in motorsport events. It's a DIY themed channel where I walk you guys through the steps to get your Subarus back on the road and hopefully do a little racing of your own. So thanks for checking out the video guys. I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's head into the shop and let's walk through 5 steps I put on the whiteboard that are going to take us through cleaning this short block. Let's check it out. Before I jump into the 5 steps we're going to use to clean the short block, I want to remind you guys that this video is actually a video in a build series where I'm swapping a 2005 WRX engine into a 1998 RS Coupe. In an earlier video, I actually put down 12 steps on this whiteboard behind me that's going to walk us through this entire video series while I rebuild this 2005 WRX engine, which is also known as an EJ205 motor. As I zoom in for a close-up, you can see I've actually knocked off the first 2 steps, tear down the engine and machine the heads. In today's video, we're going to walk through step number 3, which is cleaning the short block. And to walk us through cleaning this short block, I've actually put 5 steps on the whiteboard behind me. Okay, now here's the 5 steps that I've put together for cleaning this short block. The first step is going to be lubing the pistons. In that step, we're actually going to use a little 30 weight oil or a little assembly lube. We want to wipe down the inner cylinder bore so that we make sure we don't get any water in there, and if we do get any water in there, there'll actually be a coating of oil on the cylinder walls first. The second step will be to tape or seal everything off. There's a bunch of little ports on this engine, and we definitely don't want to get any water inside the engine, so we'll tape and seal everything off. For this step, I use silicone caps and a lot of blue painter's tape. And then as we move down to step number 3, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's just hot soapy water. And step 4 is really the difference maker. That's where you use brass brushes and brass wire wheels to really get a deep clean on this motor. And then we'll move on to step number 5, which is where we'll rinse the motor with clean water and then completely dry it. Alright, and that's basically the 5 steps that I'm going to walk you guys through today with my EJ205 motor. I've already got the engine rolled outside, so let's head outside and start this process. Okay, step 1 is going to be lubing the pistons, and that involves cleaning those cylinder bores and then applying some kind of lubricant to the inside of those cylinder walls so that if any water gets in there, the cylinder walls are actually protected and no rust will form. Anytime you're assembling an engine and you're using oil as a lubricant, a lot of times you want to use a 30 weight oil instead of a multi-viscosity oil, because a 30 weight oil will actually cling to those cylinder walls a little bit better, which will protect the engine all the way through till startup. Now you can also use a high quality assembly lube like this Red Line assembly lube, and this stuff is actually specifically formulated to be really thick and viscous so it sticks to those cylinder walls really nicely too. One more thing I'll point out is that I use this cheap little 99-cent ketchup container to hold my oil. It works great, it's got a nice little funnel spout on it, and it's got a nice little cap on it so you can control the flow of the oil to specific little spots, and you can cap it off when you're going to store it. These work great and are usually less than $1. Anytime you're going to lubricate the bores of your cylinder walls, you first want to clean them with something like this microfiber cloth. So get in there and clean that sucker up. I don't worry about cleaning the carbon off the pistons at this time, but for right now, I just want to keep those cylinder walls clean and lubricated. And then go ahead and take that 30 weight oil and apply a nice thin coat to the entire cylinder wall. I like to use my finger to spread it around evenly. Alright, that's step 1. We can move on to step 2, which is sealing off all the ports and taping up this engine. That way we don't get any water inside any passages where we don't want it. That's a really important step, so definitely don't skip it. Okay, so step 2 is going to be to tape and seal everything off. Now to do that, I actually use 2 things. I use this blue painter's tape. This works great, and I use this to seal off the combustion chambers and a couple other passages. And I also use these silicone caps. These work great to seal off little ports and passages all over these engines. And here's 2 examples of where I'm using those silicone caps on the thermostat housing. So go over your engine and completely seal it off using that blue painter's tape or those silicone caps. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and tape up this engine, but you guys are probably already noticing that this engine is already looking pretty damn clean and polished. And that's because I've already gone through all these steps for most of the parts of this engine. I'm actually going to redo these steps with you guys so I can walk you through the steps, and I'm going to get all the little spots that I actually missed. That way this engine is completely polished clean and is going to look legit when I go ahead and put it back in that GC8 coupe. Now the first thing we're going to need to seal off are these coolant crossover ports. That's this port right here and this port right here. So just grab that blue painter's tape and go ahead and apply it over that port. Tear off a little strip, put it down over the port, and tear away any of the excess, and then make sure it's just nice and tight. We basically just want to seal off that port so no water and no debris get into that passage as we're cleaning this thing. And that's basically good enough. That's all we're really looking for. Next we'll move over to the other coolant crossover port. Get that sucker sealed off. This is definitely one of those processes where you want to take your time, you can't rush it, and the more time you take, the better it's going to turn out. So you get that tape down, you get that port totally sealed off. You don't really need to worry about sealing up any of these little thread holes. Those are all blind holes, but we are going to make sure we blow all the water out of these little thread holes at the end of this process. Okay, and then rotate your engine. Well, let's go ahead and seal up this combustion chamber. Okay, now to seal up this combustion chamber, we're actually going to use blue painter's tape. That's a great option because it doesn't leave a lot of residue, but it'll actually seal off the water pretty damn good. But to allow this blue painter's tape to make a good seal with a metal surface, you actually got to clean that metal surface and remove as much of that oil residue as you can. That way this blue painter's tape sticks really well. So start with a clean rag and just clean off all of the perimeter and all of the mating surface where your head gasket goes. And then apply just a little bit of glass cleaner or something equivalent to that rag and go around the surface and gently remove all the oil residue. That'll help allow that painter's tape to make a really good seal. Okay, now you should be ready for some painter's tape, so go ahead and put down some strips the width of that cylinder head. Just work your way up from the bottom up to the top, or from the top to the bottom, doesn't really matter. And then I apply a little bit of tape perpendicular to the direction that I put the first layer down. Definitely go ahead and seal these locating dowels too. Alright, that should be good for this side, then rotate the engine and go ahead and do the other side. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and do that now. Clean that surface up, get all the oil residue off it. That way that painter's tape can make a good clean connection. And then go ahead and take that blue painter's tape and apply another layer of the tape to seal off the combustion chamber. And then perpendicular again to the direction of the first layer. All right, and that combustion chamber is completely sealed, watertight. Okay, let's rotate this engine, take a look at where we're gonna go next. All right, this engine's looking really good. It's just about completely sealed off, but there's one more thing you wanna think about. If you're gonna leave your water pump on and your oil pump, you wanna make sure anything over on the front of this engine, behind your timing assembly, is completely sealed off too. And for that water pump, this actually has bearings in it. You don't wanna get water and rust on the inside where these bearings are. I actually use a little plastic water bottle base that I cut with a pair of scissors. It actually slides over that really nicely. Now it doesn't make a perfect watertight seal, but I'm not planning on spraying this with any heavy water directly. That will actually protect most of the water from getting into that bearing. And then I'll make sure I dry it completely, and I'll use a pressurized blowgun to get inside there and make sure we don't have any standing water and no rust develops. Okay, that's it. We're done with step number 2. This engine is completely sealed off. It's now watertight. We can go ahead and rinse it with some hot soapy water and get all the loose and heavy oil and debris off it. That way it's nice and clean and ready to take our wire brushes and our wire wheels to give it that fine, clean polish. Now I have to mention that the correct way to clean these engines is actually when they're split and they're completely disassembled, and you can put them in some kind of wet media blaster and completely clean them from the inside and the outside and every angle. But most people out there are gonna be like me, and you don't have those expensive wet media blast equipment at your home shop. And you're basically gonna be disassembling the sucker in your garage and cleaning the sucker while the heads are being resurfaced at the machine shop. That's the reality of the situation, and that's what most of you guys out there are probably gonna go through, because that's the fastest way to tear down an engine, replace your head gasket, and get it back in the car. So I'm going through all the steps that most of you guys will probably end up with your projects. Now that the sucker is completely sealed, we're ready to move on to the next step, which is a hot soapy water. As you can see, I've actually cleaned this engine already with hot soapy water, and I've removed all the oily debris. So I'm gonna move on to step number 4, which is grabbing those wire wheels and those brushes and starting to remove all the really stained and grimy areas and all the little crevices and cracks. Okay, for the next step, which is step 4, on the whiteboard behind me, I'm going to walk you guys through all the assortment of wire brushes and wire wheels I use to really get these engines completely clean. This assortment allows you to get into all the little nooks and little crevices of these engines and really take this engine build to the next level. Okay, we'll start off with the first tool, which is really just a regular wire brush. But the most important thing is that all these brushes are brass, because brass brushes aren't going to scratch this engine at all. They're just going to remove rust and grime that is built up on this engine over time. So make sure all of these brushes are always brass brushes. Okay, that's the first one, just a normal brass brush. And then I use a small little brass brush, so you have 2. And then we get into the impact driver. This is where the difference really comes in, and this is where you can cover a lot of square inches on this engine really fast. Go ahead and find yourself one of these brass cone fittings, and you can find one that has a little insert. That way, it'll snap into your little drill extension like that, and you can use it to go over all those wide surface areas on the engine, like on the top of the engine. This attachment works really badass. I'm gonna show you guys how it works in a second. But equally important is getting one of these little brass fittings. This sucker will allow you to get in a lot of those little nooks and crannies of this engine, but it's still a pretty good size, and you can cover a lot of square inches quickly. Again, this one has that same fitting, so it snaps right into your drill bit fitting really easily. This is a really important attachment to use. So that's the second attachment, the small cone shape. Okay, next is the Dremel tool. This is the one that's really going to let you to get into all the final little nooks and crannies of this engine and get you that last 5 or 10% that you can't get with the big sucker behind me. Again, for this Dremel tool, you still want to use all brass wire wheels. And I've got an assortment of them. There's this one, which is round and flat. This one works good to get in certain spots. And then we have a smaller version of that one, which is also round and flat. That one will get into even smaller areas. And then there's a small little cone-shaped one, which is kind of a medium size. And then you have your fine little cone-shaped one, which is basically like the tip of a little paintbrush, but with those brass bristles. And this little sucker will let you get into all the teeniest little spots of this engine to really take that cleaning job to the next level. Okay, we'll start off with this first big brass wire wheel attachment that goes into the impact gun or into your drill. Snap that into the tip and go ahead and start working over the surface. And that's all there is to it. Just go over the surface and really work the top of that engine and get it totally clean. I've actually already gone over this engine with this size wheel, so I'm gonna move on to the next size wheel to show you guys all the other spots you can get in. Okay, here's the next size you wanna try. Again, that should snap right into your drill fitting. This little brass wheel will allow you to get into these tight spots, like right here, where the webbing of the engine creates these little crevices. As you get around the perimeter, just make sure you don't get over to the combustion chamber side. You definitely don't want to scratch the surface of this block where the heads are going to mat up to the block. So go ahead and use that bit to get into all the little crevices of this engine where that bigger one couldn't fit. Now, depending on how bad your engine is, this might only take 30 minutes, or you could be at it all day. Who knows? Put in as much time as you want. This is definitely a labor of love, and this is definitely going to be one of those extra steps that makes your engine separate or different from the next guy's build. And after you've done that, and you've gotten every little spot that you think you can get with that bit, we're going to go ahead and move over to the Dremel size bit and really get into all the teeniest little crevices. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use that Dremel bit. I got the smallest little attachment. I'm going to work it into these small little crevices. Okay, now I'm gonna move over to this next size up with that little Dremel tool attachment with that brass wheel. Another thing I'll mention is that when you buy these, usually buy packages of 10 or 20 of them, because these little Dremel tool brass brushes are a lot softer than the bigger ones you use with that impact driver, and they're actually gonna bend and get torn up pretty easily. So expect to go through a whole packet of these little brass brushes for the Dremel tools if you're gonna clean your engine. Okay, now I'll go ahead and apply that little bit larger brass wheel. Always make sure you're wearing safety glasses anytime you're going to use a Dremel tool with these brass wheels. As you can see, a lot of these little hairs are flicking out. If you're not wearing safety glasses, these little brass pieces of wire can end up in your eye and it would quickly take you to the emergency hospital. So definitely make sure you're wearing safety glasses anytime you're using this tool with this kind of attachment. All right, I'm gonna go back to this size wheel, see if I can finish this sucker up. Alright guys, after you think you've got all you can do, next step is going to go ahead and rinse this sucker off. So I'm done with step 4. I'm going to go ahead and do a clean rinse on this engine, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry it completely. I'm even going to use an air gun from my air compressor. That way I get every little bit of water off this sucker, and I can put it away completely dry. Okay, we're now ready for step number 5, which is to rinse this engine with clean water and then completely dry it. Now for the clean water rinse, I'm actually going to use a non-scratch Scotch-Brite pad. I'm just going to lightly douse it to kind of remove all the debris that is built up in these crevices. Just kind of go over all the spots that you've used those brass brushes and those brass wire wheels on, and give it a light scrub and loosen all that debris so it just streams off the engine. After I've got this side, I'll go ahead and rotate the engine. We'll go ahead and do the other side. It helps to keep this engine at about a 45-degree angle. That way, all the water just sheds off. And then go ahead and get in all those little crevices. Make sure you get all those little bristles from those wire wheels that broke off. You want to make sure you definitely rinse those all off. All right, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate the engine all the way over. Let all the water drain out. Rotate the engine a couple times. And I'll take a bunch of clean rags, and I'm going to dry this engine, and then I'm going to grab my air compressor with a little nozzle on the tip, and I'm going to spray this engine down to remove all that standing water. That way no rust develops anymore on this engine. Okay guys, I've completed step 5. I completely rinsed this engine, and I've dried it with a microfiber towel, and I've actually blown it dry so there's no standing water anywhere on this engine. I think it looks pretty awesome, and if you compare it to where it started, and I'll throw up a couple pictures real fast so you guys can see half of the engine that was still oily and greasy and grimy, and the other half that was already polished. So you guys have a better idea of how well this process works and how much you can actually clean that engine up from start to finish. So we're done with this step. The engine's completely cleaned, and we're ready to move on to the next step on this EJ205 engine build series. So let's head up to that whiteboard and let's knock this one off the list, and let's take a look at what's next on that list as we get ready for the next video. Okay, here's that list for the EJ205 engine build. We've completed our discussion on the engine teardown, we've completed our discussion on the machining heads, and now we've cleaned the short block, and I'll knock that one off the list. Next one on the list is painting the intake manifold. But you guys will have to wait for that step in the next video. Thank you so much for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining me on this build series. I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comments section. I'm Luke, this is the SubaruONLY Show. Until next time, guys, later!